To Nick's Chicks family, welcome back to another episode. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, and I'm joined by my co-host today.
D Block 21. What's good?
It's Saturday. The Knicks just beat Milwaukee yesterday, which they completed their season sweep against Milwaukee, which is a good thing. One team that shows some positivity that they were able to beat them. The Knicks did defeat them 116 to 107. I thought that was a solid win by the Knicks. They pretty much had a commanding lead in the first and second quarter. First quarter outscored Milwaukee 25 to 19. Second quarter outscored them again 35 to 30. The third quarter, Milwaukee did come within, I believe it was two, but the scoring was still pretty evenly close. Milwaukee outscored the Knicks 24 to 21, and then the Knicks outscored them by one, 35 to 34. But just a solid performance by the Knicks. I thought the Knicks had good control in that game. Josh Hart played 42 minutes, had a double double with 13 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. OG Anunoby had a really good game, played 36 minutes, had 31 points. 20 of those points were scored in the fourth quarter. That speaks high volumes. Karl Anthony Towns, another solid game, played 32 minutes, finished with a double double at 14 points, 10 rebounds. Mikal had played 38 minutes, had a good game. He's entered the chat and woke up. He was aggressive, had 26 points, five assists. DeLeon Wright started the game, which I thought was really shocking, and played point guard, but did a good job. Played 30 minutes, had 12 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Landry Shamet, I believe he was 3 for 5 from the three, had a really good game, hit nice middies for the Knicks, played 20 minutes, had 13 points. Mitchell Robinson came in, had 10 rebounds, 18 minutes played. Tyler Kolek, 17 minutes, had 5 points, 5 assists. Just great ball passing and movement from him. Field goal percentage wise, the Knicks did get outbeat 54% to 48. They were 12 for 33 from the 3-point line at 36%. They were 14 for 16 at the free throw line at 87%. They did out rebound Milwaukee 44 to 32. The Knicks moved the ball well. Another solid game with them moving the ball well at 28 assists. They did have 12 steals to Milwaukee's only two. And the Knicks only had 8 turnovers. That's the stat that stands out for me. And then they out scored the Bucks in the points in the paint at 44 to 40. Anything or any player for you that you look at and was like, wow, you know, good game.
I'm gonna have to say OG. You know, he's man, his continued aggressiveness and just looking for the basket, not forcing his shots. I mean, just his overall his field goals, man. When you look at just the last 5 games, it's just what he's doing in
Right.
in Brunson's absence. And not, even if Brunson was there, he would still score, but I don't know if it would be this much, to be honest with you. Um, just picking up the slack wherever he can, and just still being required to play solid defense. Um, just OG, like I love his playing. I just continue health and hope so this can carry down the stretch. He's my first go to person that that's really stood out for me.
Right.
Outside of the other guys. Nice for Delon Wright to get that start. When he's like, I guess he's a taller guard, so he's like, and he veteran. He played good. He didn't seem frazzled. I like what I saw with him. Just to think he was buried on the bench. It's a shame it take injuries for the coach to see your worth. You know what they can do, but you're sitting on just wasting away on the bench. And I'm glad we got a chance to see him. Yeah, we saw him this and that and the other instances, but to see, and to start, that's a big deal, man, to start. And I see why he went over over Kolick to start, because he's a rookie and he'll get his moments. So you see why he made the decision, of why he got to start versus Kolick. Nice, output from him. Um, I just hope we could, see more of him even in, Brunson's return. I
Yeah.
hope that can definitely translate and carry over, and hope Tibbs saw something in him to say, okay, well, we got something here. Yeah, they see it in practice, but to see it in real time, I just hope that we could definitely see more of him. Um, Cole is going to get his moments. It's not this year, next year, or and hopefully it's next year where he don't waste away on somebody's bench. But just like a great team ball or team effort. Yeah, Milwaukee was over Milwaukee minus Dame, but we beat them before with Dame. So is that wasn't like, oh, we wasn't like it wasn't we wasn't expected to win. This overall just you know nice you know output from them.
Yeah, I think also not only that, yeah, they didn't have Dame, and this was kind of Milwaukee's like B C squad. But to me, that didn't matter because they brought the game within two against
Yeah,
the Knicks. So that already tells you right there, like the Knicks almost had a scary moment, but they were able to prevail, which speaks volumes. And that's one of the things that I really do admire with this Knicks team is that they figure out a way to come back and fight, and they stay persistent in games. And sometimes they're able to get over the hump, and other times they're not. And yesterday, I thought they stayed the course, they stayed poised. And yeah, right. I thought I wasn't necessarily surprised that he started in the game. I thought he did a good job coming out, bringing that veteran experience. He looked comfortable. I liked him handling the ball. I think his ball handling skills look really good. And as far as Kolick, he's gonna get the time because you don't have no campaign. So he's, if anything, those two can still run the point and do a good job, going back and forth, and you have one to cover for the other. So this way, one guy's not getting tired out, as Tibbs was already doing when he had Payne there and Kolick was backing up Payne. So Kolick is going to get better. He's going to get even better by next season. But I thought Kolick, his eye coordination on the floor is really good.
yeah,
I think his decision making and his passes is really good. And he started to look for his shot and again in that Milwaukee game. So I think that Kolick just has to, and he'll get better when you're playing against better point guards in the league, like how he was exposed against the Clippers when you played against Harden, who's, really good, has the experience under his belt, but he's gonna work on that. But as far as how you spoke about OG Anunoby, like I said, OG had 20 points in the fourth quarter, which was huge. He's averaging 5.1 free throw attempts per game, which is way up from his season of 2.9 mark that he's had.
yeah,
And when he was asked some questions about his game and his inside game, he said, and I quote, I try to play the right way and read the game. And I also just try to get the team in the bonus, create fouls, being aggressive at all times. And when he's was asked what helps him get to the line more, the free throw line, he said, and I quote, just watching film, watching other great players. He said, and I played with a guy, DeMar, who does it a lot. Great players do it and get fouled. Just being aggressive, go with force, not being soft with it.
yeah.
Man, I think he's my second best player now.
And you would
Gets
take
it.
it then.
He gets it. Exactly. And Tibbs gave him high praise because the amount of free throws that he took, the 3-point shots, just, and I spoke about this when we went on Thursday. His focus on the game, it's at a different level. It's at OG's, the way he's eyeing this game. And I said this, I said it's him, it's Brunson, and it's Cat.
Yeah, You
They're
did.
focused on the bigger picture. And it's no disrespect to the other guys on the team, but I see it not just the way they're playing, it's the way he's looking at the game, the way he's figuring out, okay, how do you play smarter? And I'm not even just talking about making mistakes, but how do you play this game so we could prevail and get, not only do I get better individually, but so that we can pull out a win at the end of the
Yeah.
night. And OG just truly looks laser focused in, night out. Again, he's had a small dip here and there where he's had a bit of a slump that he I would say he had, but overall, I just think the way that he's approaching the game is like I'm hell bent on. To me, it doesn't come across like I'm trying to get 30, 25, 30, 35 points. It's I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get us this win.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna make the right decisions. I'm gonna be wherever I need to be in the right spots. And I thought Josh Hart did a good job with that as well. It reminds you of a lot of what OG does. Is like being in the right spots at the right time. How many times did Milwaukee make a silly pass and Josh Hart was able to just catch it and they were able to go and run? And you saw guys just take off in the transition to get a nice easy basket was just, and the decisions that the Knicks made in those transition those runs and the baskets that they made. It wasn't I'ma just try to drive and you don't really have it, or I'm out of control, or I'm just doing it just to do it and you're not even gonna get a foul. Like it was the decisions to kind of pull it back. I saw Wright do it, I saw Kolek do it. Kolek at one point got the ball to Shamit, and Shamit was really good yesterday.
Oh yeah. He was aggressive too. Yeah.
But here's the thing. My thing is with players like Shamit, make me eat my words. Because I said I would get rid of Shamit, and it's not because Shamit's been awful or bad for us. My thing is, I wonder if he fits here on this team, and I think he can fit because you need somebody like him for his shooting who could come in and score. I think initially, when he first came back, he was coming back from that injury, yes. But I think Shamit wasn't looking for his shot. He was so focused on playing good defense. And then eventually, and I think I said it to you, he has to kind of like stop being passive and just like create his own and be more aggressive and getting his shot off. And you saw where he started to do that. And now he seems to be a lot more comfortable now on this next team offensively. But OG, I'm just like, everything he said when I was reading that article, I said, wow, like you studied and watched a guy like DeMar who you played with and realized I gotta keep the ball low when I dribble into the lane. He's specifically watching when guys have their arms stretched out defensively to look at where he can get the contact, which is smart. And OG, since Brunson's been out, has done a really good job attacking the basket because he realizes that's what's missing.
Yeah.
And old Knicks teams, we haven't had a guy who's done that. It was settling for shots, whether it was the three, it was the mid range. So to have a player have that mindset of I have to attack the basket, this is haven't I been saying this? Stop the clock, get to the free throw line, get some points. He gets it. And you need more guys with that mentality, especially playing on the Knicks. Like it just usually just doesn't happen.
Especially playing on.
Um, yeah, I couldn't be more impressed, and just hearing what he said and his responses is just like, and OG's not trying to give you the media responses. This is his true responses. His true answers to when he's being asked these questions. Tyler Kolek had 5 points, 5 assists, as I mentioned. Um, and he recorded so far 31 assists and only one turnover in March.
Yeah.
I'll
Like
take it
that's impressive for a rookie.
for a rookie.
And it's like you see what we have moving going forward, and we always holler about, oh, there's no depth, and it's not. But then again, if you're not given the opportunity, you know how can you prove yourself? And if I make mistake, then guess what? This is something we'll go over in the film room and it's film session. Something let me see, dissect it, and so I can get better. Um, because let's face it, they have two different playing styles. You know, Wright was looking to score, and he did, and then Kolek, he's more like a facilitator. It seems like he wants to get everybody else involved, and the scoring will come, and hopefully the defense will come also. But you know, he's definitely that guy. Like oh, I'm gonna get you. Like don't worry, I got you. But again, the scoring will come with him. I think he's like one of those players like we saw it in college, but this is the NBA. Well, let me get this down, boom, and the other stuff will come. We as fans, we want him like to score, 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 and that'll come. But it's just it's we know what we got moving forward. It's like the thing about Tibbs has a lot of weapons. But the Knicks have weapons, but it's ultimately it's up to the coach. The coach got a plan he has to execute, and then get your offense is there, but and then get your defense down pack, and you can be in the upper echelon. Yeah, you're at the third, but it's like when you com- compare, the other teams that's below you, that you should be there. But quite frankly, you should have been up there in second, at least trying to vie for second. But third is, good. I'm not knocking that, but as a coach, he has to, you know, do the planning, do the execution and running your offense, and let's play defense and utilize those weapons that they have. You know,
Exactly. That's what the word I was going to use. It's how you utilize the different various weapons that you have. The Knicks absolutely do have the weapons necessary, but it's how does Tibbs utilize it, and then how are you responding to different teams that you're playing on a different night? I don't care if you're playing back to back, you're playing a team you just played them 2 nights ago. It's how do you respond and make the adjustments. And some nights Tibbs does it well, and other nights they fall short. And I think as far as Kolek, again, you he averaged 31 assists and only one turnover in March, which is impressive, like you said, for a rookie. I'm not even necessarily looking for him to score because, again, like you said, that's going to come. I think that when I watch him play, I feel like you have to be prepared and ready for a pass that he's going to make. Not because he's making some wild passes, but you got to be ready. Like, I don't remember which game it was, but he was driving the lane and he wound up giving like it was a last second pass, and not because necessarily Kolek didn't know what decision to make as far as scoring. I knew he was gonna pass, and I was like, "Thank God, Precious Achua was ready," because he passed it to Achua, and Achua just had to lightly jump, get the basket in. But I just feel like you got to be ready for when you're playing on the floor with him because Kolek will drive and he does a lot of good no look, non fancy passes, but no look passes where he
yeah,
sees a guy in a corner, he's going to kick it out to you. So be ready when he makes those passes or if he's making a quick bounce pass and stuff like that. So I just think that, again, the same way we saw the growth of Deuce McBride, you're going to see that with Kolek. He's going to continue to get better on his team and elevate, and he's going to be a true asset to this Knicks organization as well. So I'm looking forward to his journey and watching him grow and continuing to get the playing time. And I'm so happy that he's able to get the runs now and prove that don't just stick me on a corner. Because remember, Deuce was going back and forth between G League, but don't just sit Kolek on the end of the bench and then sometimes utilize him. Like give him the time because, and I think Tibbs even said he's been really impressed with him with Kolek so far. And, I can tell that trust level is going to go up where Tibbs is going to start to play him more. So I look forward to that as well. But you touched on something with the Knicks being in third, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think it speaks volumes that the Knicks being in third this season. They're hanging on by a hair, the same length of my twisties. That's the same length that they're hanging on in third. Um, do you feel like it's kind of been like I don't want to say a mediocre, but a okay-ish season for them? I don't want to say a season. I think I think what I'm trying to say, has it been okay-ish how they've been in third, I guess, lately? Because I think so far up until recently, and I want to say even before Brunson went down, it's been a little like rocky with the
Yeah,
Knicks. This is even before Brunson went out. It's been a little rocky with them. Do you think that that's I don't know, like, does it tell an outside story with the Knicks being in third, like the Knicks earned their way to third, or is it like this team is just okay? They're not really good. They're okay. They're good. I mean, does it tell a different story? Because when I look at the Knicks record, and I know you can't, I'm not basing this just off of the record and that the Knicks are only at 46 wins when the Knicks should really be at least at 50 wins by now, at
yeah,
least
for sure.
realistically. Like, let's be honest. Let's call this, this is not the pom pom podcast here. Let's be honest. But when you look at, even if the Knicks was at 50 wins, do you look sometimes at this team and you're like, and I don't even, and when I say this, I don't mean necessarily because you're looking at the Knicks like, damn, they should be in first or second. I don't necessarily need them to be in first or second, but do you kind of go, are there ever any moments where you're like, I don't know about this particular roster makeup? It's sometimes you're a little unsure, like, and the reason why I say this, the Knicks beat Milwaukee, who's been struggling this season. We spoke about this on our last show, but the Knicks have issues beating teams who are better, who have been doing good this season. And they've had a couple of trap games against teams that aren't that good that they fell short. But to me, yesterday's game was a game they should have won. I was expecting you to beat Milwaukee, but I don't know. I look and I'm wondering if you sometimes look at this team and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do all the time. Not this down because of where they're at. Because in the beginning it's like, they got a gel. And then they came along, they gelled, you saw the cohesiveness and the chemistry got, they were clicking. And then I don't know, they just had a collapse. And yeah, they should be, further along, definitely, like you said, 50 at least, And I'm not, you can't compare them to last season because it's a whole totally different roster. And I get it, different group of guys, but you're a professional. Um, and there were so many games that they lost, and like you just like, really, and not even two teams that are below 500. It's the better teams that they fail to, you know, win against. They compete. Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about how they the competing on the floor, but it's just the fact that they just can't seem to beat those teams that are 600 and stuff like that. So I'm like, like this. Yeah, many of days I look at and say this team, like you see flashes of them
Hmm.
when they got us, like, yeah. Then there's just other times, and it's disappointing, and at this juncture, I just ride into the third, because see, you I don't know how much ground you're gonna make up as far as, yeah, they playing Boston again, Cleveland again, and I think they play Cleveland once or twice.
I believe it's just once.
Yeah, once, but
Twice. No, it's twice. They
yeah,
played them April 2nd, then again on April 11th.
yeah. So I mean, will Cleveland play like their guys, and we don't need no pity games. And that's to say, if you're not gonna play your starters and you beating their B squad, to me, I don't, I don't. And if you win, do you count that as a win? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you should
Like a
have beat
true
them.
win. It's a
Yeah,
win, and the
true
win
win.
is a win. We'll take it, but is it a true win?
Exactly. And then you already clinch your pleasure berth. So like like you said, a true win. So yeah, there's many a days where I looked at this team, I'm like this just isn't it. And then there were other times we were like, yeah, when they went on that win streak, and then they just couldn't just stack wins. So and that's what the frustrating part about them.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat, everybody joining us today. We're on later today because not because we were out enjoying the weather, but because, but still we're on tonight. Shout out to Kareem Grant said, Wright played okay, but I'm not gonna get hyped over one game. I'll stand pat until I give my full thoughts. Yeah, I agree. Because like I said, you played against a Milwaukee team who struggled. And that was actually like a flash of a preview of what we would get if the playoffs started. The Knicks will be facing Milwaukee. But yeah, I agree. I mean, my thing is, well, let's see what you're going to do against Portland.
Yeah,
Philly's been struggling, but they still keep the Knicks on their toes. And then let's see what you're going to do next Wednesday against Cleveland. So I agree. I mean, you know, it's not to put any pressure on him, but it was just one game.
yeah, right. Like pump the brakes, or get too excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And it sucks too. I hope that, you know, this shows Tibbs moving forward, including for next season, that you got to give Kolek minutes. And the same when Huck Porty comes back. Like, let him get the burn and let him get out there and, I mean, give him some minutes to play because listen, you can't think playing Towns is going to be the answer, running him amok, playing him a ton of minutes, and he's having to work so hard just to get a shot and get a basket. So we'll see. Lonnie Meek salute said OG needs to give that advice to Mikal. Yeah, because Mikal, some days he enters the chat and some days he don't.
Well,
He's still been up and down though. Like I thought that was a good game, yesterday's game, but it's not the case every night.
yeah,
That's the thing with Mikal. Like, like okay, tomorrow, is he gonna step up? And it would be nice to see him be explosive and step up with OG, because then it's like, wow, now you have a force alongside with Cat. But it's just really in real reality, it's Cat and OG that's been holding it down. But if Mikal could really get on board, it'll really help this team out. So yeah, just wait until the game slow down for Kolek. Yeah, he's gonna be even better. He's gonna be able to read the game a lot better, and he's gonna work on his game in the off season. There's no doubt about that. I'm 100% confident he's gonna be working on his game and working on his defense as well, because you got to play defense in this league.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Salute Rondo 1973. He says salute ladies. Salute to you too. Kareem says Shamit is good too, but I'm sorry. His defense is good, but not good enough to stop his opponent from scoring. Yeah, Shamit's defensive energy is good, but it's kind of like a mass cover up. Energy is one thing, but stopping someone and staying in front of someone is something else. Shamit falls into that weak defense with a lot of Knicks players where they play good defense or they start off playing good defense, but they're not, it's not good enough that you're able to contain components in front of you. And I see that happen to a lot of guys on this team. It's not just Shaman. I
That's
see it happen to Josh. I
mm,
see it happen to Deuce.
yeah,
As good as defense as Deuce McBride plays, he'll be all up on a player. Guy goes right by him.
yep,
And then now, and that's the one thing, the culture that has to change on this team. And I was kind of dissecting that our last show. When guys are playing defense on this Knicks team, and it's not just this roster, we've seen it for years. When Tibbs has gotten here, before Tibbs has got, the culture of the defense has to change. When you don't play good defense on this Knicks team, when a guy doesn't play good defense, now it falls on the other guy, which is the bad habit that this team has of, I got to play help defense. It's okay to play some help defense, but the Knicks do it so much that it cripples them as a team.
Yeah.
It cripples them as a team. And again, Shaman, I like his energy a lot. Defensively, he has high defensive energy. He gets into stance, but it's just the energy. You're not the physical action of playing the defense is not really there at a high percentage rate as it should be. So, I'm just like, I think that's one of the things to me that cripples this team is that guys don't play good man to man one on one defense on this Knicks team. And a lot of times they're playing defense along the side of the player, along their hip, instead of cutting off their lane to get to wherever they're trying to go. So, yeah, that's something I've noticed with Shaman and a few guys on this Knicks team. O has salute said OG has been attacking. Bridges needs to be more consistent with his attacking. Yeah. I don't know, like, is Mikel waiting for like a golden ticket, a head nod, somebody to do to him what he do after he scored with the three fingers, if somebody's waiting, if he's waiting for that in return to like give him the go ahead? Dude, get the ball and go to work. Like, he does those mid-range floaters so well. I don't know why he doesn't do it more. Mikel, like, he'll get the ball and then he wants to pass it. You're not a point guard. And not saying he's trying to be a point guard. Just shoot, score, be aggressive. He's like, he plays to, he'll be good in a band as a background singer or a musician, because that's what he does really well. He plays the background, and we need you to come to the forefront and really go to work. And this guy, I don't know, sometimes it's just not enough for me. Like, he's too passive. He's too laid back. It's not even, and I don't even think that he's being like, um, I don't think that he's scared to shoot it. Mikel just is not putting those killer instincts out there. And that's what this Knicks team needs him to have. But OG truly needs to, like, I hope it becomes infectious to Bridges to attack in your own way as you do, because it's lethal when he does it.
Yeah.
Mikel could turn things around for this Knicks team going into the postseason if he's more aggressive and not just giving you 15, 12, if you lucky 16, maybe 18 points. Like, you gotta contribute. You gotta give a little bit more and stop being cheap with what you can give this team. Kolek and Wright have played well. Payne will be gone. Yeah, I thought Wright and both Kolek, I think it's good that they'll both be able to hold it down at the point guard position. And Tibbs can utilize both of those guys. Shamit played well yesterday, but Bouchamp and DeLeon are better than him. Yeah, I don't know about Tibbs playing Bouchamp. He gives him those, like, if it's 2-3 minutes left and the Knicks are up, those are the kind of minutes I've seen him get. And then I've seen him in street clothes. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I saw more street clothes than in a uniform.
Uniform, yeah. It's just another one of those just bench stuffers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kolek looks great with the starter because he's a pass first assist pileup. Agreed. But I think that's how you kind of have to break a lot of the bench rookie guys on this Knicks roster. I think if you can put them in and plug them in with the starters, not starting, but play them with those guys, they'll get a lot more comfortable playing and can keep up. Because, I mean, again, I always utilize and go back to Deuce. He was able to get a lot of playing time with starters and play with Brunson, as you always say that you really like those two playing well together. So yeah, I agree. I think, you gotta give the guy the minutes, let him play. But I do like Kolek's passing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Shaman does have seniority. He's been in the league longer. Yeah, Tibbs, he likes to. Tibbs is like a union job. You're already first. You've been hit longer. That's who's getting in.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Leon is a keeper over campaign. He's taller with better defense. Yeah, I agree. Cam is only here for what, a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because remember
Well,
last season he was with Bill.
Philly. But he actually gave them a spark off the bench, remember? Because he was hurting the
Sure,
Knicks with those threes.
for sure.
And part of that was just horrible, weak defense. Because I remember Josh Hart was guarding him, and
Oh
Josh
yeah.
was watching him shoot the threes. I said, "Damn, so you just gonna keep?" It was like he was in amazement, like, "Wow, he's shooting threes." He was just watching them. I
Yeah.
said, "Josh came in and shot like three threes back to back, and Josh just kept watching it go to the basket." I was like, "Wow." So that tells you something too. Dorkosaurus Rex Salute says so many games they should have closed out this season. Yeah, the Knicks should have at least 50 wins by now. They have a lot of third quarter and fourth quarter collapses. Um, I wanted to ask you about Brunson once he gets back. So the Knicks are now 6-5 since Brunson went down. OG has averaged 22.4 points per game, up from his season average of 17.5 points per game. What I'm wondering is, how does Brunson's return affect OG attacking the basket?
Mm.
Because, you know, OG, the floor is open for him now and he's able to, and I don't want OG, I don't see OG doing attacking the basket as much when Brunson comes back, but I don't want him to lessen it so much that now it just goes back to Brunson attacking the basket. Like, I still want to see OG getting to the rim and getting there and getting the fouls, because he does that really well for this team. But I'm wondering, when Brunson gets back, like, how does that affect, OG get into the basket and attacking as he does so well? I mean, to me, I think he can still get attack the basket and get to the rim a lot if Brunson gets him the ball and OG just goes to work and they keep moving the ball and playing unselfish ball. But I don't know if OG will be at the high percentage that he is now, but I still want to see him do it once Brunson gets back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Brunson's been, at some of the games, some of them home games. He's watching. Even
Right.
when we think he's not. So, and it's up to him as a point guard, being a facilitator to keep OG, hot, and because you see what he's done in your absence, so you don't want to divert from that. You know, I think that OG's gonna still remain aggressive. I'm just hoping he don't pull back. Just continue to be yourself. Don't let Brunson's presence like sort of like diminish you. You know what you can bring. You know your offensive game and defensive game. I hope he could just stay in that attack mode as a play, because when you look at now, now you got three options. Like, and even before Brunson went down, yeah, he wasn't scoring or he wasn't averaging as much, but he
Right.
was still scoring. I just hope that he could just stay in that attack mode, because now you got the third option, that a reliable third option,
Right.
where that at any given night, I'm going to still drop 20, 25 on you and do whatever I can, so we can get that win. I just hope, as a facilitator, it's kind of, falls on Brunson's shoulder to keep him, in that attack, by feeding him the ball and, um, remaining, aggressive in his play.
Yeah, I think that's so true. As the point guard, as the facilitator, as the captain, you being out, I agree 100%. I'm sure Brunson is watching these games. The Knicks can also be dangerous if you have more than two options. So instead of it just being Brunson and Cat as the options, utilize OG as an option for a high enough percentage, the same way both Cat and Brunson is. And then now you only really need is Mikal to come in, and now
Hmm.
you have four solid options. And then if you can get like Deuce to come in and give you something off the bench, if you can give Shamit to give you something off the bench, if you can get a random night where Precious can give you something, if you can have those fillers of guys who can be a random X factor for you during a game, great. And I'm especially during the postseason when you're playing, these different rounds. So the Knicks are gonna need that. If it just falls on one or two guys, I'm sorry, you're not gonna be successful. It's gonna be very hard. You have to have these other guys, be involved, being OG and Bridges. And then, like I said, if you can have Josh come in and do what he does, you have other guys come in and do what they do, it really does help you out. But it's going to take collectively those four guys to be hot and to come in and do what they do and not just fall on two guys. Um, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to, but as of right now, I'm very impressed with what OG and Anunoby's doing. And I'm looking forward to Mikal to slowly step, and hopefully with Brunson being out, I know he's close to being back, but maybe Bridges will start to come out of his shell more and start to come alive more and start to play, more aggressive and go after his shots and do what he does best. So we'll see.
Yep.
The Knicks play a matinee game tomorrow. At home, they're playing the Portland Trail Blazers at 6. So that should be a good game. The Blazers lost their last, they lost their last 3. Yeah, they lost to the Sacramento Thursday. They lost to Cleveland on Tuesday. And then they lost to Boston last Sunday. So they're going to be hungry for a win. They're hungry to make something happen and get a win under their belt. And let me just check one more thing. They are, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. They're sitting in 12th. The Knicks should be able to win this game tomorrow. Your predictions?
Well, of course, I'm looking for the Knicks to take this. Um, Hoping he start right again. Again, because that's a confidence builder for him.
Right.
But yeah, I think that this I don't want to say easy win, but I'm expecting the Knicks to take this one.
I'm expecting the Knicks to take the next 2. You
So,
should be able to beat Portland tomorrow, and then you should be able to beat Philly on Tuesday.
oh, for sure.
And again, just because you beat Philly on Tuesday doesn't mean you're going to embarrass yourself next Wednesday against Cleveland because it's a back-to-back. You need
Okay.
to be prepared to face those guys and not allow it to be a season sweep. So, you know, I'm looking for the Knicks to take the next 2. I'll hold off before I get too into what they're gonna do against Cleveland. I'll save that for when I'm on a Queen's Quarter on Monday because I know we're gonna break down those next 2 upcoming games. But yeah, next week the Knicks should be able to. I'm looking for them to rack up some wins. They have 9 games left. 2 against Cleveland. You got Atlanta, Phoenix, Detroit, Boston, Brooklyn, Philly. The Knicks should be able to pull out if the Knicks can get 51 wins, 52, I'll be happy. But they gotta you know, the grittiness, the aggressiveness gotta come from within. They gotta figure it out how to pull off some wins and not finish the season off at 48 wins or 49 wins. You can't win less than what you did last year. You gotta. The goal is to get better and do what you do better than what you did last season. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Knicks. Again, the Knicks are still sitting in 3rd. They are 46 and 27. Indiana's right behind them at 43 and 30. And look at Detroit moved up to 5th, 42 and 32. And Milwaukee's in 6th at 40 and 33. If the playoffs started today, the Knicks would be playing Milwaukee. I do feel confident with the Knicks facing off against Milwaukee, but I'm not sleeping on any team because you slip up, get too confident, and that's what happens. But yeah, I want to see the Knicks stay healthy, get healthier with players who we have out, and finish off this last leg of the season good. So we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much all for me today. Shout out to the chat, Walter Blackman. Salute to you. Dorcosaurus Rex, salute to you as well. Kareem Grant, salute. Lonnie Meeks, Rondu 1973, Old Head. Who else? I think that's everybody. Yeah, and shout out to those of you who are not in the chat but watching live. Shout out to you as well, and shout out to the replay gang. Those of you who help us out, and shout out to the new subscribers to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button. And those of you who are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're on every Thursday at 7, and then we usually go on Saturday mornings. But being that I'm in the process of adulting, I couldn't go on today. But usually Saturday mornings we're on. And then you have Ron from Still Knicks Fans with the Knicks 3-hour special. Shout out to Ron. I was tuned into his show earlier today. And then you guys can catch me on Mondays. I'm on with Steph, Jeff Clafter from Happily Ever Clafter, Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises. I'm on with them every Monday with the Queen's Court, which is a really dope show. Check us out at 7:30. And yeah, anything else from you, Diva Lux, before we get out of here?
No, you know me. Let's go Knicks.
As always, everybody have a great weekend. Looking forward to watching tomorrow's game, and I'll see you guys on Monday in the Queen's Court.